Alright, what's up guys? It is Mercules here, and this is going to be commentary number 32. Now, I'm going to do this commentary very quietly because my roommate is asleep. It is 1:41 in the morning right now, Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, my roommate is sleeping, and I'm going to try to do this quietly. And because my wisdom teeth recovery has not gone as well as I'd hoped, so it's actually still kind of hard for me to talk. That's why I haven't done a commentary in the last couple of days, is because it kind of just really sucks to talk. Actually, my mouth really hurts, and I'm going back to the dentist tomorrow. I've got to get some stitches out, and hopefully everything will be cleared up after that. But that's enough about that. The gameplay is, I think, the first multi-team game I've done in a while, the first full multi-team game. I probably choke more in this game than I've ever choked in any one single game before in my life, or it would be maybe my second most chokes. But I go 70-3 over the course of the game, so that's pretty good. Getting unfreaking believable, like an overkill, maybe a few nice triples, do a lot of work with the sniper rifle. Just the usual standard multi-team stuff. That's not really what I want to talk about at all. What I want to talk about is, first off, the montage contest is done. For those of you who have forgotten what it was, because it's been a long time since I've talked about it, I actually gave out a bunch of my spare clips, which were clips that I just wasn't ever going to use for anything, and I let whoever wanted edit them and put them into a montage. And a lot of the people, it was one of the first montages I ever made. I think it was at least 2 of the 4 people's first montages they ever made. And so they're all done, and I'm actually really impressed with the quality of the stuff that I got sent. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pick a winner, obviously, but I want y'all to have a say in it too. So I'm going to post all 4 montages probably tomorrow on the Halo Collective channel, and pretty much I'm going to let y'all go on there, and I'm not going to say y'all are going to have like 50% of the say, but if there's like an overwhelming majority that believe one of the montages is the best, I might, and it's not the one that I think is the best, I might consider that as the winner, as opposed to the one that I have already picked out in my mind right now. But yeah, the winner will get the Dazzle DVC 100 capture card mailed to them at my expense, and hopefully it will start, it will help them to start up maybe their own Halo channel, even though it won't be HD. Maybe they'll be able to get their own stuff going, or maybe it's not even Halo, maybe they just want to do other types of videos, other video games. It's whatever they want to do with it. But yeah, so that's enough about that. I have one main topic for this commentary today, and it's actually a topic that I've thought a lot about today, because I went out to dinner with my younger brother, just my younger brother. My parents wanted me to take him out since they were going to be gone. Since I live close to the house, I can do it now. So I took just my younger brother out to dinner, and we were talking about video games, because he's a big video game nerd just like I am. And we actually went by GameStop, and I talked to them about the pre-order plans for Halo 4 and everything like that, and they were saying that they were going to start giving out numbers 2 hours early, so that I need to get there at 10 o'clock if I wanted to pick up the game at midnight, and I still probably wouldn't even be the first in line. So we were just talking about how Halo 4 is like going to be one of the biggest releases of the last few years, and how it's supposed to be just this incredible game and everything cool like that. My little brother was asking me, he was like, well, why is Halo 4 going to be such a big game? Why isn't Reach so, if Halo 4 is so popular, why isn't Reach so popular? And I was trying to explain it to him, and I'm going to tell y'all like a story about what I think happened, about the rise and fall of the Halo population, and maybe the subsequent rebirth with Halo 4. And at the same time, this story is going to parallel the rise and what I believe subsequent fall of the Call of Duty Nation is going to be. So what happens is, I don't know anything about Halo 1 or Halo 2 because I wasn't here for those games, but I'm just going to assume that Halo 3 was like the prime time for Halo, because that seemed like when it was the biggest. That seemed like when I would get on Halo 3, there would be 800,000 people online. Like, it would just be insane. It never took any time to find a game. You know, everybody played Halo 3, and the reason why is because Halo 3 was, it seemed like, the only real shooter out there. Like, if you played a first-person shooter on Xbox Live, it was probably Halo 3. Like, everybody played other games. Like, I had Ghost Recon, there was Rainbow Six. There was the old Call of Duty, like Call of Duty 2, but those games didn't have like a huge following. People would buy the games and they'd play them for a while, and then they'd come back to Halo. Or, you know, a small following would stay with those games, but it wasn't, there was no game that was like Halo. Halo was the shooter. And one of the great things about Halo is you were rewarded for being good, because there was a skill-based rank system, 1 to 50. And what would happen is you had to work very hard to get a 50. Now, towards the end of Halo 3, you didn't have to work so hard because there were boosters, and you know, you could, it just was much easier to get a 50. You could even buy one if you wanted, though I don't know anyone who ever did that. But what happened was there was a skill-based ranking system where the more you played didn't necessarily mean the better you were. It was the better you were meant the better you were. So that, you know, it gave you a reward for getting good at the game. It meant something to be good at the game as opposed to just meaning something to play a lot. It meant that if you tried hard and you were bad, well, you weren't going to get rewarded as much as someone who was naturally just better than you at the game. And that was really fun and really rewarding for a lot of people because it meant that, you know, it literally meant something to be good at the game. That's what it meant. If you were a high rank, it meant something. It meant you were actually good at the game. And so people tried to get good at the game, and it gave them a goal to get good at the game, and it made them want to play the game and want to get better at the game. But at the same time, for people who weren't very good at the game, for people who were just naturally bad at first-person shooters, for people who just didn't want to put the effort in, it necessarily wasn't as fun for them, but they played it because there really wasn't anything else for them to play. So all the population was on Halo. Then came along Call of Duty, and Call of Duty was an easier game. If you like Call of Duty, I'm not insulting you. I myself love the game. I think it's a great game, but it's easier. It's plain and simple. It's just easier. And I made a comparison that was a welfare game before because it is. Call of Duty rewards you for playing more, not for playing better. Now, granted, you unlock things faster if you're better, but that really doesn't mean anything at all. Really, it rewards you for just playing more. So instead of putting in the time and the effort to become a better player, all you have to do is just play. It doesn't matter how well you play, and there aren't really any reward systems for how well you play. So it's kind of like saying that you don't have to put in the work to be good at this game. You just have to do the game. All you have to do is play the game, but you don't actually have to be good at it to get our rewards. And that made it a lot more fun for the casual gamers who didn't want to put in the work to be good at Halo 3. Because in Halo 3, you would go play that game, and if you got matched up with a bunch of 50s and you were like level 30s, you were going to get crushed. And, you know, it wasn't necessarily as fun, but it was fun for the people who wanted to. It was fun for the people who wanted to try hard and who wanted to get better at the game. And Call of Duty took away that aspect to where there wasn't like a try hard, get good at the game capability. It was just everybody played and everybody was pretty much on the same footing. And made it to where a small number of players couldn't dominate everyone else, but at the same time it also didn't give you a goal to shoot for. And, you know, that's fun and everything for a little while, but the joy about Halo 3 is you never really got bored because you could always improve at the game. You could always get better, and there were always that small group of people who were just elite at the game. They were just so good. In Call of Duty, there's not a small group of people that's elite at the game. There's thousands of kids who are fantastic at that game, but you put a pro Call of Duty player versus a complete scrub in a game, I mean, the scrub's still going to kill the pro once or twice just because it's so much easier to kill someone in that game. You put Ninja against, I've used this analogy before, you put Ninja against a scrub in Halo, that scrub's getting, you know, 50 0. It doesn't matter if it's to 50. Ninja's going to get to 50, and the scrub's not going to get a single kill. And that's because Halo is a game where you have to work to get good at. Call of Duty is a game where you just play. And that was fun, and that worked out really well for Call of Duty for a while, and it took people away from the Halo community. Towards the end of Halo 3, when Modern Warfare 2 came out, people were leaving the Halo community all the time, and that just got exacerbated when Reach came out. Because what Reach did is Reach tried to break new ground in the Halo community. They tried to add in equipment, they tried to make new ways to play, and what I believe happened is kids didn't like the change. They didn't like how different it was from Halo 3, even though in my opinion it's still a great game. They didn't like how different it was from Halo 3. They didn't like the fact that there were different strategies, different ways to get map control. They didn't like the fact that it was a little bit easier for noobs to do things because there was armor locking, because grenades were so powerful and things like that. But really, when you look at it, all the things that noobs do, if you're very good at the game, you can use them to dominate even harder. And that's what I believe Bungie was trying to put into the game, like Bloom. Yeah, noobs can spam Bloom and 5-shot you, but pros 5-shot all the time with Bloom because they pull the trigger faster because they just simply aim faster. So that's what I'm saying, like, the things they put in Reach were supposed to make it to where people could still dominate, but at the same time, noobs could get lucky. They made it easier for noobs to get lucky, and people didn't like that. They didn't like the change, and it became like the cool thing to hate on Reach. Because I remember when the beta came out, I thought everybody was excited about it. I know I was excited. I was incredibly excited for Reach. I thought everybody else was too. So the beta came out, and then Reach came out, and it came out right at the same time as the new Call of Duty, and it just seemed like it died. But now, I pretty much believe that when Halo 4 comes out, it's going to be a whole different ball game, because I feel like people are finally getting tired of the Call of Duty thing where there's no reward for getting better at the game. I feel like people want to get better at a game now. And, you know, they left for Reach, which is a shame, because I feel like if Reach had a population of 500,000 plus, it would be the best game on live right now. But if Halo 4 has a population of 500,000 plus, it's going to be the best game too. So all I'm saying is, guys, that people got tired of not being rewarded for being good at the game. And now that Halo 4 is coming out, hopefully we'll have those same rewards. And hopefully, you know, people will start to come back from the Call of Duty community. I'm already running past the time right now, and this is just black screen that y'all are watching, but I really do have this to say. So hopefully people from the Call of Duty community will see how much fun Halo really is, and they'll come back to Halo. And actually what I'm going to do, I want to keep talking, so I'm going to put some clips at the end of this. And I'll let that carry over for this part of the conversation, so y'all can watch that. So pretty much what happened is, in Reach, people left. They didn't like the change. Some big name players said they didn't like the change, and that made it kind of cool to hate on Reach. So more people left Reach, and then Reach's population decreased. And when the population decreases, less people want to play the game, because the kids that are playing are tryhards and they're good. So anybody who's playing is going to be getting pretty much destroyed by the kids who are tryhards. So noobs don't want to play anymore, so noobs leave the game. Then tryhards get pissed off because there's no noobs to play against. So it's just not really very much fun to play the game anymore. It's kind of disappointing. But at the same time, everything, like I was saying before, they put into Reach, the bloom. Pros can aim as fast as they want with bloom and still 5-shot people, because the faster you move the trigger, the faster that the more accurate the center of your reticle is. That's what I've noticed in bloom. Jetpacking, yeah, noobs can use jetpack, so can pros, and they can be incredibly dominant with the jetpack. Sprint, everybody can use sprints incredibly easy. The more powerful grenades, pretty much what, like I said earlier in this commentary, what I believe Reach did is Reach made it to where noobs, it was easier for noobs, but at the same time, noobs can't use the things that were put into the game to the extent that pros can use it. So people got mad because when they first started playing the game, it seemed like it was too easy for noobs. Like a noob can just armor lock, or a noob can just spam random grenades, or a noob can just spam the DMR trigger, and they're going to win. Well, yeah, that's true, but it pretty much kind of hurt the middle class, because pros were still dominant at the game and noobs got a little bit better, but kids who couldn't use the armor abilities as well, it didn't really improve them, and I feel like that's where it hurt Halo's community. And the thing is that I feel like if these kids had just kept playing, they would have just gotten better and they would have gotten over it. But people started hating on Reach so quickly right when it came out that it just was never really given that chance. If everybody could have just played the game and could have just sat down, like if there had been no other shooter to play, if there had been no Call of Duty, and it had been just Halo Reach, imagine how good that would have been for the Halo community. Then people wouldn't have hated on the game nearly as much. Sure, people would have still gone back and played Halo 3, and I don't see anything that's wrong with that. I mean, personally, I don't do it, because I feel like that game's in the past, you need to move on. But if you love that game, by all means, continue playing that game. I still play Rainbow Six Vegas 2 sometimes, and there's no game that's more in the past than, you know, that one in terms of Xbox Live. There's like 50 people online at a time when I play that game. But what I'm saying is people didn't give Reach a chance. It got hate way too early, and there were too many other alternatives to go back and play. And I feel like it was just because people didn't like the change from Halo 3. But I've gotten off topic because I'm getting onto my Reach ramble again. And I know I've said this 100 times, and I apologize to y'all for it, but I love Reach, and it just bums me out when people hate on it. I personally like Reach's multiplayer more than Halo 3. You know, don't dislike me for saying that. It's just the type of person I am. It's just the type of gameplay style that I have. Now, Call of Duty is a fun game, but you don't get any reward for being good. There's no satisfaction that comes out of being good, because it's just too darn easy to be good, and because there's too many other really good people. You're not in an elite status like you are in Halo. If you're pro in Halo, you're one of maybe, you know, 100, 200 gamers who can say that they're pro level. As opposed to, if you're pro in Call of Duty, you're one of maybe 10,000 gamers who are pro level. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I believe people are finally getting tired of the no reward system, or the easy reward system, the welfare system, where you don't actually improve yourself, but you get everything for free. And Halo Reach is like a capitalistic society. The best succeed, and the worst suck. And Call of Duty, it's like a welfare system where the best are, you know, best are alright, but the bad kids are right on up there too. It just crunches them all together. It doesn't actually bring the bottom. It doesn't make the bad people better. it makes the good people worse, is all that it does. And Halo has never really done that. Now, Reach, it did that a little bit. It helped to make the bad people better. But like I said, that was in the interest of promoting noob-friendlier games. But at the same time, that just enraged the middle class, who now, the average Halo player felt that they were no better than a noob, felt that they got destroyed by a noob, and that made it not fun for them. And I see where that comes from, and that's really, truly disappointing. But, again, I feel like because they had the easy alternative that was Call of Duty to go back to, a lot of people who were just middle-class Halo players just left for Call of Duty and just played that game. But now that Halo 4 is coming out, everybody's excited, everybody's pumped. I feel like they've finally gotten tired of Call of Duty, because I actually noticed when Modern Warfare 3 came out, there was a spike in Halo Reach's population. Halo Reach's population has grown since Modern Warfare 3 came out, and it's because I think a lot of people were waiting for Modern Warfare 3, and then it was just kind of a disappointment to them. And they decided to come on back to Reach, because Reach is just more fun. I mean, you get rewarded more for trying harder. You get rewarded more for being better. You get rewarded more for practicing. Now, the ranking system, yeah, let's all agree on this. Reach's ranking system sucks. There's no skill-based reward system, and I mean, that's absolutely terrible. It's really atrocious. But you know, overall in Reach, gameplay-wise, you're still rewarded more for being better. And again, this is towards the end of the commentary, guys, so I'm just going to recap. The people in Call of Duty, it seems like, are getting tired of not getting any rewards for being good. They want a reward system. They want to compete. They want to try to better themselves, which is something you've always been able to do in Halo and never really been able to do in Call of Duty. So it seems like they're all coming back now. I mean, my brother was not raised on Halo. He's not a Halo fan. He's a Call of Duty boy through and through. But even he is stoked about Halo 4. He's going to the midnight release. So that's all I'm saying, guys. I'm sorry this commentary's been so long. I didn't mean to make it this long, but I just really felt like I had to say this. I hope y'all can hear me too, because I'm not really sure how quiet I've been. But remember, guys, like, favorite, and subscribe for more.